until he arrives.
Thank you, Senator Murkowski. Mr. Secretary, I'm just going to follow up on the questions I asked in my first round and the questions that had been asked by members of both parties. In my assessment, there was no imminent threat to the United States that justified the president using his Article 2 powers, and there was insufficient preparation to make sure that we had the right troops, the right capability deployed. There used to be a consensus in national security that America should only go to war when there's an imminent threat to our national security, when all other options have been exhausted, and when we have clear objectives and a plan for how it ends. As General Kane testified, the military was given 3 clear goals: sink the Navy, attack and destroy the ballistic missile launchers, and degrade their defense industrial base, and you've accomplished those. But President Trump celebrated regime change after saying that regime change was the real goal. And our NATO allies have delivered. They have allowed overflight. They have allowed projection of force despite not being consulted. You said just a few moments ago, Mr. Secretary, we control the Strait. But it's clear that reopening the Strait of Hormuz for commercial traffic eludes us, in no small part because Iran retains a robust stockpile of cheap, lethal Shahed drones, and they are getting help from our adversaries in rebuilding them. What is your plan for reopening the Strait of Hormuz, Mr. Secretary?
I would just note that the majority of your question was highly disingenuous and loaded with suggestions that I very much don't agree with. From the beginning,
please feel free, sir, to pick any one of those
From the
things.
beginning, we've been very clear about the military objectives and the underlying strategic objective, which is preventing Iran from getting a nuclear weapon.
Yes.
Take, for example, the fact that Iranians' conventional Navy, they had aircraft carriers with Shahed drones on them before this started. They had full-on destroyers and battleship capabilities, none of which they have anymore. And
did the Iranian Navy have aircraft carriers?
Iranian Navy had 3 drone aircraft carriers. The Iranian Navy had 11
launch
submarines.
Platforms for drones, sure.
They had 11 submarines.
And you've
they
sunk all of the regular Navy. Great, good.
They retain fast boat capabilities, which they've always had. We understand that, which we can control for and will. We've degraded almost completely their defense industrial base capabilities. The idea that they control anything, you can terrorize something, you can hold it at issue with piracy, as I've talked about at the Pentagon podium time and time again. That doesn't mean you control it. We control what goes in and out, and we control whether or not we have to restart conflict. The president does as well.
Mr. Secretary,
we're the ones. In just one day, 32 Chinese oil tankers passed through the Strait of Hormuz right in front of the U.S. Navy. How you answer that? Am I lying here? Absolutely not. Go to Google and you can do your own research. This guy is a pathetic liar. He's trying to sell his war, still trying to do the bidding for his boss, Donald Trump, who will lose the midterm, who will be impeached, who will be in jail. But he's falling apart. He's just collapsing.
That will manage where this goes in the future, and they have very limited ability to set the tempo or respond to it, and that gives the president a lot of options to ensure that Iran never gets a nuclear weapon.
The connection between their ability to close the Strait of Hormuz using fast boats and Shahed drones and our strategic goal, shared broadly, to prevent them from ever having a usable nuclear weapon is utterly unclear to me. And my question was, what's the plan for reopening the Strait of Hormuz to commercial traffic, given
shared broadly, but
skyrocketing
never
prices?
executed. Shared broadly, but never executed, because previous administration didn't have the willingness to actually do what it would take. And when Iran was at its weakest moments following the 12-day war, but still wanted the pursuit of a nuclear capability, President Trump made the courageous decision to go at their conventional umbrella and shield, which they were using to protect their nuclear program, which we knew came with threats and branches and sequels.
My concern, Mr. Secretary, is that you've achieved a series of tactical successes, but are on the verge of a strategic loss, because we are now negotiating.
I just think it's so foolish. Here we are in a committee in the United States Senate, 74 days in, and you're talking about strategic loss. We have the ability to defeat a 47-year threat of a pursuit of a nuclear weapon. We have more leverage than we've ever had. We've had incredible battlefield successes, and you're talking about a strategic loss, cloaked in disingenuous questions.
Mr. Secretary,
this is how you undercut efforts that could otherwise and are otherwise being very effective.
I am not your enemy, sir. I am not your adversary. I share your goal of preventing Iran from ever having a usable nuclear weapon. To finish my sentence, control of the Strait of Hormuz the ability to degrade our partners and allies' gas and oil production capabilities through cheap drones, the ability to harass and harry commercial shipping remains in Iran's hands. And their demands are that we recognize sovereignty for them over the Strait of Hormuz, which I believe our president's rejected, you've rejected, I reject. But my question remains, how do we reopen the Strait of Hormuz to commercial shipping?
He cannot reopen the Strait of Hormuz because he doesn't have any leverage. He tried to do everything possible, but then you have China objecting to this blockade of United States. Why are you blockading an existing blockade? Doesn't make any sense. Russia is providing intelligence to the Iranians. Iran was prepared for this for the last 47 years. They are preparing for this moment. And according to one report, Iran can go on with this blockade for months, if not years. Therefore, Donald Trump, whatever he is doing in the Strait of Hormuz by deploying this 15,000 personnel, that was for his Freedom Project that fell apart right after he announced it. Within, I think, a matter of just 20 hours, it just fell apart, that Project Freedom. In that, he deployed 15,000 U.S. troops. He deployed warships. He deployed drones, all of these things. But they did not bring him any result, never. So he doesn't have any leverage, nothing.
We control it. How do we reopen it? And your average American is seeing this at the gas pump every single day as the cost of gas continues to rise.
Senator Coons, I know that
Exactly.
your question has not yet been responded to.
And it deserves an answer.
It does
But I
deserve
also
an
understand I'm
answer.
delaying my colleagues. But that's the question that deserves an answer, Mr. Secretary.
We do have Senator Kennedy.
This is a question that needs to be answered, and there is no answer. I mean, Pete Hegseth did not even object to Chris Coons' question when he was pressing him again and again why you are not able to open the Strait of Hormuz. He objected in the beginning, but you have seen at the very end he was like quiet, keeping it quiet. Just let him pass his time and Chris Coons will be done and I will not have to answer. This guy is beyond pathetic, Pete Hegseth. Subscribe for more videos in the next one.